We do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung. We all carry a shadow within us, a silent force that, at certain moments, erupts with intensity and overtakes us without asking permission. This darkness, when ignored, can shatter relationships, sicken the body, and disconnect us from the meaning of life. Yet when faced directly, it can transform into an inexhaustible source of energy and creation. After all, who has not felt anger surge powerfully, threatening reason and serenity? What should be done with this emotion that is as dangerous as it is vital? This video is an invitation for you to understand your own shadow and discover how anger, when embraced, can become the first step toward overcoming your inner darkness. The ambiguous power of emotions profoundly shape our existence. They not only guide our decisions, but in moments of intensity can cloud our ability to distinguish between reason and impulse, between right and wrong. Among all human emotions, anger stands out as the most destructive. It can appear as fury, resentment, chronic hostility, or hatred. And when nurtured, it has the power to devastate individuals and entire societies. Nevertheless, we must remember that anger also carries a legitimate side. In certain circumstances, it provides the vital energy needed to rise against injustice. Those who are not angry at what they should be indignant about are considered fools. Aristotle. When anger drives us, in some instances, anger is not merely unavoidable, but essential. It awakens within us a vital energy that propels us into action, encourages us to confront challenges, and shields us from apathy. Unlike indifference, which reveals a silent surrender to life, anger may signal that there is still something inside us that yearns to fight and to assert itself. When properly directed, this emotion strengthens dignity and fuels the will to live. Where love reigns, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The one is the shadow of the other. Carl Jung. Impotence, the hidden trigger of anger. Behind most outbursts of rage lies a silent and corrosive feeling. Impotence. When a person feels cornered, suffocated by circumstances that appear uncontrollable, anger emerges as a natural reaction. Throughout history, movements driven by collective resentment have shown how this emotion can turn entire societies into stages of tragedy. Lord Acton once stated that absolute power corrupts absolutely, but the opposite is also true. Absolute powerlessness destroys absolutely. In our own time, we see it in soul-draining jobs, the crushing weight of corporations and governments, or in isolation that makes us feel insignificant. It is here that anger rises as a response. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage against the dying of the light. Dylan Thomas. The danger of repression. From an early age, we are taught to hide anger as though it were a shameful weakness to be denied. We construct social masks of kindness and altruism that in reality merely cover up resentment. This seemingly harmless habit comes at a high cost. Psychological instability, psychosomatic illnesses, and sudden bursts of fury that erupt without warning. Suppressing anger does not erase its force. It only drives it deeper into the unconscious, where it grows stronger until it finds a breach to break through. No one, looking at their own shadow, likes what they see, but those who refuse to face it are doomed to be devoured by it. Carl Jung. The daemon and creative passions. In ancient Greece, the word daemon referred to an intermediate force between gods and men, something neither entirely divine nor fully human, but powerful enough to guide destinies. Carl Jung reinterpreted this concept in psychological terms, viewing the daemon as those instinctive passions that can take over an entire personality. Desire, love, hatred, power, and anger are daimonic forces, capable of both creation and destruction. When we suppress these forces, we become fragile and vulnerable, but when we embrace them, we can channel them toward transformation. Creativity is born precisely from this encounter with chaotic power. Every act of creation is first of all an act of destruction, Pablo Picasso. Thus, even anger can become a source of renewal. Creativity as an antidote to chaos. Creativity is the most powerful response against the feeling of helplessness and the weight of darkness. When we choose to create, we cease to be victims of chaos and become agents of transformation. Every creative act, no matter how small, organizes disorder and gives life new meaning. Anger, when acknowledged and directed, can transform into a creative force, breaking obsolete patterns and opening the way for the new. This is why creativity is not just an artistic choice, but an existential necessity. As Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "One must be willing to burn in one's own flame. How could one rise new if one had not first turned to ashes?" Friedrich Nietzsche. Inner chaos is the silent invitation to recreate oneself. The final choice, to be consumed or transformed. Ignoring anger is to allow it to become a destructive power, silently corroding the mind and heart. Repressed, it grows like a ravenous shadow, turning into a demonic force that devastates everything around it. But when welcomed and understood, that same energy can be harnessed to fuel creativity, strengthen courage, and open paths of transformation. Each person faces this unavoidable decision: to be consumed by their own wrath or to transform it into a driving force for growth. Energy is eternal delight. William Blake. Carl Jung emphasized, "What you resist persists." Carl Jung. In the end, our destiny is defined by how we learn to live with this force and use it to become whole. Anger is inevitable, but it does not need to be our enemy. When suppressed, it destroys. When embraced and directed, it can become the spark that ignites creativity and drives us toward transcendence. The challenge is not to erase the darkness, but to learn how to coexist with it and turn it into light. It is within this movement that we find meaning and the strength to move forward. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. Carl Jung. May this reflection inspire you to acknowledge your own shadow, to transform anger into creative power, and to awaken to a fuller life. If this message resonated with you, subscribe, like, and share, so more people may awaken as well. In the end, it is essential to understand that preparing the mind through the wisdom of great thinkers such as Carl Jung, Friedrich Nietzsche, Aristotle, Pablo Picasso, and William Blake allows us to face life with greater awareness and wholeness. Jung invites us to confront our shadow, transforming emotions into vital energy. Nietzsche pushes us to embrace pain and chaos as part of the rebirth process. Aristotle reminds us of the importance of acting with courage in the face of injustice. Picasso inspires us to see destruction as an integral part of creativity, while William Blake reveals that energy itself is an eternal source of delight and vitality. Strengthening the mind based on these ideas means learning to transform anger and other intense emotions into fuel for creativity, personal growth, and true inner freedom.